Joseph is one of my favorite characters in the Bible, and I was talking with a group of my friends yesterday about the life of Joseph and how many ups and downs there were in Joseph's life. And yet, over the course of time, 10, 15 years, he remained faithful through it all. So let's track Joseph's ups and downs in his life and see how it can apply to us today. So Joseph was his father's favorite son. Nothing Joseph could do about it, but that was an up in his life. Then he was thrown into a pit. That's a down. He was taken out of the pit, right? It's an up. He was sold to the Ishmaelites to go to Egypt. That's a down. He was sold to in Egypt, he was sold to a prominent family, Potiphar's family. That's a good thing. He was sold not that he was sold, but that he was sold to a prominent family. He did so well. He was faithful, responsible. He was promoted to be second in command in Potiphar's household. That's, for the first time, 2 arrows up in a row. Then he did what was right. He was tempted to do wrong by Mrs. Potiphar, and he chose to do what was right, and he ran away, and she blamed him for doing wrong. He was sent to prison for doing the right thing. That's definitely a down. He worked hard in prison. Again, he was responsible. He was faithful. He got promoted to be in charge of the prison. That's an up. The butler and the baker had a dream. They said, Joseph, can you interpret dreams? He interpreted dreams for them. That's a good thing. That's another 2 ups in a row. And then they forgot about him for 2 years. That's a down. That's a downer for sure, right? And then, let's see, after 2 years, Pharaoh had a dream, and he was called to go interpret a dream for Pharaoh. That's an up in his life. And then he was promoted to second in command in Egypt. That's another up in his life. When we meet Joseph, he was doing well. He was his father's favorite son. He was well taken care of. He was given a coat of many colors, lots of recognition from his dad. He was living a good life. When we end Joseph's story, he was, can you see this well? He was in a good place. He was second in command in Egypt. That's pretty cool, right? Now, I'm up in my son's room because this is the only whiteboard we have in our house, and I'm on my knees because it's not a very tall whiteboard. Anyway, so Joseph's story, my word, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. How would you have responded? How would I have responded if we had been put in Joseph's story? Could God have trusted you? Could God have trusted me to be faithful through it all? God will be faithful through it all if we stick with him. He can be our rock, our stability, our predictability when life and everything around us seems chaotic and completely out of shape and out of control. God is faithful, immutable. God never changes. I got to ask myself the question. I'll ask you the question. Do I live as if God is immutable? Do I live as if God is faithful? Am I willing to, in my life, experience this many ups and downs and ups and downs, trusting that God is my rock, my stability, my faithfulness? You see, in life, we can be bounced around with the waves of storms. And here's the deal. It's not that the waves aren't going to happen. It's not that the waves and the sea and the winds and the storms are going to come through. It's going to be a question of, are you going to rely on God to be as a lighthouse in the midst of a storm where the waves are crashing and you remain faithful? Or will I be thrown around like a boat in the middle of a storm in the middle of the Pacific Ocean? Those boats go wherever the wind and wherever the waves want them to go. God has a perfect plan for our lives, and this doesn't look perfect, but he has a perfect plan for our lives. He has a plan to get us to here. But that doesn't come without all these ups and downs. God will be faithful. Will you be faithful?